Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Friday, the 7th of November 2025. In today's Millwall news, we're going to start off with this. We have the latest TV selections. They have been made today across the EFL by Sky Sports Television and been published. 2 of our games have been selected, and I'm going to tell you who they are now. So this is from millfc.co.uk, the club's official website. Mill's trip to Watford moved to an early kickoff. Mill's Sky Bet Championship trip to Watford will now kick off at the earlier time of 12:30 p.m. The fixture at Vicarage Road on Saturday the 17th of January was originally scheduled for 3 p.m, but will now begin at 12:30 p.m, due to be shown on Sky Sports Plus. The Lions' home fixture with Charlton Athletic 7 days later, Saturday the 24th of January, kick-off at 12:30 p.m, will also be shown on Sky Sports Plus. And I believe that was scheduled to be at 12:30 anyway. I don't know why they did that. I assumed that it was going to be moved anyway, so let's just say that it's going to be at 12:30 even if it doesn't get selected, which it has, and it will be shown on Sky. Although I believe that is incorrect. Technically, it's being shown on Sky Sports Football, according to the EFL website, whether that's true or not. And there is a distinction. Sky Sports Plus is a streaming service which you get through the internet. Sky Sports still has a standalone satellite broadcast system, which obviously that is not the internet. It's being broadcast from a satellite beamed down to your box or whatever it is. And so if you don't have your Sky connected to the internet, you will only be able to watch the channels. You can't stream nothing. So that does matter until, I believe, they're trying to force everyone to get their boxes connected to Wi-Fi. But, yeah. These announcements follow the EFL's publication of all broadcast selections up to and including Monday the 2nd of March. Selections for the next batch of fixtures after the first weekend in March will be announced on a 4-week rolling basis starting from Sunday the 1st of February 2026. That's next year. Right, so let's have a look. What's going on here? Right. So, at the moment, before yesterday, all the games up until January the 4th were fixed. So these are fixed. What I mean fixed, relatively, obviously, if there's some kind of natural disaster or something, some kind of weather phenomenon, then it will get moved. Maybe this game here, Blackburn Rovers, last season was a bit of a, so. But these are all fixed. These are set. The kickoff, you see the kickoff has already been moved to 1 p.m. This is at 12:30 p.m. They've already been moved. This one and this one. Now, these games are set now. They've been changed. They got changed today. Watford game got changed. The Charlton game got changed. The Coventry, that's going to be a tough week. Watford away, Coventry midweek away, and then Charlton at the Den. Early kickoff. Thank you so much for that. That's fantastic. We have a midweek game, and then the Saturday after we got an early kickoff. Much like this week. So these are all fixed. Why is that important? Well, if you are travelling, if you're flying in, if you need to book a hotel, or anything like that, you can now do so. Because up until this game here, Preston North End away, these games are fixed. They won't be moved for television. You can go ahead with safety and surety that they are going to be on the day that they say they're going to be, and they're going to kick off at the time that they say they're going to kick off. So obviously, if you need to plan, go ahead and make action. This is a good week if you want. A lot of people coming in from abroad, they want to do two, get bang for their buck to do 2 games in a week. This is a pretty decent week to do that. 2 games at the Den, Portsmouth at home, Birmingham at home, Saturday the 21st of February to Wednesday the 25th of February. That will be, if you want to fly in, there's 2 games there. Usually pretty decent atmosphere. They bring a large quantity of noisy away fans, so maybe that's something you should look into. And probably Preston North End is probably an away game that you could get a ticket for realistically on a membership. So, there's an idea for you. So, after this, the whole game and going on, these could still be moved. And we're not going to know until 4 weeks in advance. So let's move on to this. This is EFL.com. This is the source. This was the original announcement. So the EFL and Sky Sports have confirmed the latest broadcast selections between the 9th of January 2026 to the 2nd of March 2026. Obviously, we only went up to the 4th of January because the week after that is the FA Cup third round. But obviously they are concerned with League 1 and League 2 as well. But 9th of January, nothing to do with us. Continuing the commitment made ahead of the 24-25 season, supporters now have up to 4 months notice of fixtures selected for broadcast. Selections for the next batch of fixtures after the first week in March will be announced on a 4-week rolling basis, starting from the 1st of February 2026. I misunderstood last season when they said this, and this doesn't really seem to be that clear. What's going to happen is on the 1st of February, they will announce the games for the first week of March. And then a week later, they're going to do the same thing. So they're giving you 4 weeks notice ahead. So it is going to be they say 4-week rolling basis. I would say it's a 4-week. They're going to tell you week by week, but 4 weeks in advance. That would be better English in describing what they're going to do. So you will have a month to plan, but at the moment they've done it for the end of February right now, so that's a few months. But when it gets to February, they're going to tell you for the first week in March, and the second week of February they're going to tell you for the second week in March, going on all the way to the end of the season. And it's going to be week by week, and it's usually, I think they do it on a Monday or a Tuesday. So keep in mind that. So here are the games that they've selected. We got out of it pretty relatively unscathed, I should say. Only 2 games. There's the Watford game. You would imagine, we're at the top of the table. Obviously we do have a lot of injuries at the moment. But is this an indication that they don't think we're going to be doing that good later on in the season? Maybe they're saving our games for the running to the season, for the March and April. We usually do have pretty decent finishes to seasons. We kind of generally, I think since we've come up, we're either in a playoff push or that season or two where we're fighting relegation. So maybe they're saving the Millwall selections for the end of the season, where they might really matter. Actually, you know what? Let's have a look and go. Who are we actually playing in March and April? Right. Oh, these games are dog shit, though, aren't they? Blackburn at the Den. Ipswich away. Good Friday, Middlesbrough. Maybe Middlesbrough. Yeah, these two. That was the opening game. That was on TV, wasn't it? That's already at 1 o'clock. Jesus. So these teams are pretty much at the top of the table at the moment, sort of. Stoke, Leicester. So maybe, Queen's Park Rangers. Will that kick off at 3 p.m? I wouldn't bet on it. I would not bet on it. I wouldn't bet 365 on it. Obviously, this has already been moved. So the Leicester game, maybe they are waiting until the end of the season. So interesting. But you can see Watford versus Millwall on Sky Sports Plus, and let me just go down and show you. As I said here, Saturday the 24th of January, Millwall versus Charlton Athletic, 12:30, Sky Sports Football. So it's also on Sky Sports Plus. It's on that streaming service, but it's being shown on Sky Sports Football as well, which means people who just have a dish, Maybe you live out in the middle of nowhere and you can only get dial-up. Well, I mean, these days you can get Starlink and all that kinds of stuff. But I mean, I think that's pretty expensive, to be honest, And obviously, there are the odd game, as you can see here, ITV4. They do have the option to... Remember when we used to be on ITV? Remember the days? Thames Television? LWT? Oh, LWT. Loved that. Loved LWT. How fantastic was that? London Weekend Television. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Now, moving on to this. Fan Advisory Board. Do you remember that? Yep. First Fan Advisory Board meeting minutes published. This is from millwallfc.co.uk. The minutes from Millwall Football Club's first Fan Advisory Board meeting are now available, with numerous subjects covered. Lions fans can click the link below to take a look at what was discussed. So let's click on that, and this is what comes up. It's very stark set of minutes. They have initials, but obviously, who are these people? MM. Is that Max McClellan? I don't know. MF is, I believe, Mark Fairbrother. ST, I think, is Steve Turner, the MSC guy. But so let's just quickly run through this, because I'm sure you're all riveted about this stuff. So the fan experience, fan journey. That doesn't mean travelling to and from the stadium. It basically means once you get onto the facility, where do you go? What do you do? Is it clear for you to understand? Are there any obstacles in your way? Do you know where you're going? You go here, you go there. Signage, all that kind of things. Is it clean and tidy, or is it a bit grotty and all that kind of thing? So that's what fan journey means, really. To provide RH with the criteria for the EFL Family Excellence Scheme. Yeah, I covered that before. What they do is they have like a secret shopper system, a mystery guest, which some restaurants do, and then they have to basically fill in the questionnaire afterwards. So they only do it twice. So they send, one family and then another family. So they do it twice. And then after they've been to the ground, they have to fill in a questionnaire, which they get emailed online. And then that's how they base your score on. Just two random families visiting. Because obviously if they spoke to the families that are supporters, it might be a bit biased. So, you're always at the kind of whims of the people that do these kind of things, that they sign up to get free stuff, and they think, oh, I'm going to get free football tickets. Oh, I'm going to go Arsenal. I'm going to go Chelsea. Oh, I'm going to go, I'm going Millwall. And they get given the tickets. So like, okay, so now we have to go to Millwall. And now we have to sit there. And now we have to fill in a questionnaire afterwards. Oh, so, it's basically ponces who want to get free stuff, and they think in their minds they're going to get free tickets to Arsenal, Chelsea, and then they don't, and they're probably kind of upset about that. So there you go. Action. MM to provide RH with contact details for the fan who was involved in creating the Matija Sarkit Memorial. We have no idea what that's about. RH to consider the information provided in the context of her experience in analysing customer journeys and prepare recommendations to the FAB and club on how we might win gold accreditation next time, and how the lessons from that exercise could be generalised across the wider fan base. Why do you want to get an award given out by EFL? What does that matter? What does that matter? You, as a club, should be catering to your customers. Are they happy? Are the fans happy? Like, you got the questionnaire from, it says here they know the criteria for the EFL Family Excellence Scheme. Why don't you send a survey based on that to the fans, the families that go to the ground, and get the Millwall fans' answers rather than a couple of ponces who wanted free tickets? And why do you want these awards? you should be trying to please the fans you have, not trying to win awards from third-party companies that don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. These same people will turn on you a dime. They don't care. Number 2, reduced attendance by regulars at midweek games. Yes, basically by regulars they mean season ticket holders, really. A lot of season ticket holders don't go to midweek games. They can't go to midweek games, or it's a long old journey and they choose not to, and they figure, they do the math, you work it out. Okay, a season ticket is this, which works out as this per game. The tickets are this per game. If I buy a season ticket and I miss only 6 or 7 games, that works out at the same cost per game as just paying walk-up prices. So, and then if it's more than that, if you miss more games than that, it would have made financial sense for you to just pay on the day, really. Buy or get a membership. You obviously get a discount if you buy a membership in advance, and if you buy a membership, is it a discount? You pay for the membership, which is 35 quid, and then you get £6 off every game. So then obviously that pays for that, and then after a while, it's a lot of maths you got to do these days to figure out what is best for me. If you're rich, you just fucking spend the money and you don't give a shit. If you can afford it, don't care. You don't count the pennies and that. But a lot of season ticket holders, they don't go to midweek games. It's not a thing that they do. So whoever that is, asked the FAB to help the club explore the reasons behind the non-attendance at midweek games and to identify what commercial hospitality offers might attract more regulars to attend. The meeting reviewed the pros and cons of upgrading kids for £1 and bring a friend schemes to use non-attendees season tickets. Peter R. proposed a short survey of non-attenders. AEB described Portsmouth's ticket transfer system. But here's the thing. If you're a season ticket holder and you're not going to go to midweek games, 100% you're not going to go at the start of the season, what incentive is there for you? Maybe you give your season ticket to someone else, or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't trust them because it's card now. You can't just rip the ticket out and give it to them. You have to give them the card. Obviously, you have to trust someone that to do that. Can't really just let you can't sell it online to some random guy to do that. What incentive is there for you to tell the club that you're not going to go to the game so that they can then sell your seat to someone else? Why would you do that? You wouldn't. It don't make no sense. Like I said, if you can find someone to use your ticket, you probably would, as a favour, or just for a small fee, and then hope that you get your ticket back. But I did see one the other week. I think it was after what midweek game did we have where we had poor attendance? I can't remember, but we did have one. And someone said after that, there was a couple of suggestions. One was, how about 7 o'clock kickoffs? Because a lot of the commuters, they're into London. If they're working in London, they have to wait. Say they finish work at 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever. I don't know how, whatever. And then, they've got to wait until the game kicks off at 7:45. And then they go home after the game. It's a long old day. So 7 o'clock, some places have started doing that, but they do it in the EFL Trophy games sometimes. They do it, the under-21 games will kick off at 7 o'clock if they're in a stadium, most times in the evening. I think I've even seen a few EFL Cup games, maybe the first and second rounds, not 7 o'clock, but 7:15. So I don't know, but here's the thing, I don't think the club can unitarily decide to do that. They have to get the permission from the league, because there's a long-standing thing that you kick off at 7:45. Obviously you've got the TV programs with all the live fixtures coming in and all that kind of stuff. So if we wanted to do it as an outlier, maybe, obviously we're in central London, so we could probably maybe get permission because of the traffic and things like that. Look, we're in the middle of London, can we kick off at 7 o'clock? So it might be a thing that we can do. Would that be of benefit to anyone watching this now? I don't know. Another thing was, obviously, because it's midweek, a lot of people don't know their plans, like last minute, like, am I going to be able to make it? I don't know, you know, this and that. How about if you let the members buy a ticket at the discounted price right up till, you know, maybe like half an hour before the game or until kickoff? You know, you just, because a lot of people, like, once you get to that point where the ticket price jumps up an extra £6, you're like, yeah, you know, I've missed the point, and now if I go, it's going to cost an extra £6 just for the ticket. It's an incentive not to go by that point. You know what I mean? It's an incentive for you to buy a ticket before the game to get the discount, and it gets loaded onto your team card, you know, your membership card. But after that, obviously, you'll still have to probably go to the ticket office in person and get your ticket and stuff like that. But, you know, is that a thing that they could do? And another thing, this is just off the top of my head, but it's probably not gonna. This one is not a goer, really. I imagine, you know, it's a very flawed idea. Obviously, we got the big deal now with all the loyalty points and stuff. Should the loyalty points just be for people who actually go to the fucking games? But then, obviously, the counterpoint to that is like, oh, well, I missed the game. Why did you miss a game? You lost loyalty points. Oh, well, I had to go to my mother's fucking funeral, you cunt. And you're like, oh shit. So it can be a bit sticky if you're going to take points off of people for not going to games when they have, like, oh, that, like, you don't want to be going down that road, I would imagine. So I don't know what they can do. What can they do? Could they run? Obviously, another thing is the South Bermondsey after the game. Obviously, the police want to get the away fans, the F out of there, very quickly, so they give them priority at South Bermondsey. You got home fans, you know, they want to go to London Bridge and go back to Kent, to Surrey, to Sussex, wherever they're going, and they can't do that. They have to wait, and it only takes you doing that one time and missing your last train home, and you have to doss around at a station in London, you know, where you're like, okay, I'm not doing this again. So maybe they could run some kind of shuttle from the Den up to London Bridge. I don't know, but to get people out, or maybe even quicker to get them down to, what's the next station, New Cross Gate or Queens Road Peckham, so that they can get into the trains up to London Bridge and get them away. I don't know, but let's get back to it. What are we on? FAB members to raise the issue in conversations, fans will report back. MF to share with the FAB the data the clubs holds on non-attenders, including their location. Yeah, of course, because this is the thing with digital ID now. Your season ticket's on a digital card. When you click in, tick tick tick, you know, the computer calculates it, and they can see if you've been or if you've not been. That's why if you've got a membership and you haven't been for a while, they'll bombard you with emails. Say, hey, we haven't seen you for a while. Why don't you come buy a ticket and come back down to a game? Season ticket ST to include a question about non-attendance in future MSC surveys. Plans already in place to send target survey of non-attenders. Will run the draft survey questions past the FAB. Number 3, New Bermondsey Stadium upgrades. MF gave the FAB a inside information. A commercially sensitive briefing on progress with the New Bermondsey regeneration scheme and its implications for the club. This covered the current status of draft legal agreements with the local authority, prospects for training facilities, safeguarding the community trust, and the likely outcome of future planning applications for development. Progress was good on all fronts. SW asked if the FAB and fans would be consulted on New Bermondsey and stadium plans and designs, and MF confirmed this would happen. ST and Doc raised the need to find a better solution for the Memorial Garden. MF agreed and considered this could be achieved as part of a wider redevelopment of land around the stadium. Yeah, they've got some kind of was there some kind of skip company behind there now? MM is arranging a meal TV with MF and will incorporate within that an update on a new Bermondsey together with news on safe standing and other stadium issues. So MM must be Max McClellan then, I would imagine. MF will provide FAB members with details of the minimum standards for stadiums required by the Premier League, and the next meeting will review their potential impact on areas currently occupied by fans. Yes, obviously there are changes, minimum requirements to be a Premier League stadium, and if that's where we want to go, we're going to have to do it. So you either do it in advance, or you do what Luton did, you spend the summer converting it and doing it very quickly. And what happened to them? They ended up getting relegated, and double relegated. Action. Are we on a new one now? Is this the same one? Number 3. Okay. Action. MF will discuss possible redesign of the North Stand with the Safety Advisory Group. If the Safety Advisory Group is prepared to consider changes to that stand, MF will brief the FAB on details of the club proposals. Yeah, what they want to do, I think what they want to do is, obviously, most of the away fans just use the upper. But then you have the disabled fans down the bottom. What do you do? Do you kind of convert a section in the top so that it's kind of, you can send people up and down on a lift, but then what if the lift breaks? They're stuck up there. So instead of having like seats in the stand, you have like a kind of like a section where you can wheel wheelchairs in and out. I don't know, but then again, if there's a fire or an incident and they need to get them out of there quickly, you take them down in a lift one by one. That's a safety nightmare, isn't it? That's not gonna happen. So yeah. But I think they want to get more home fans into the ground by putting them in the North Stand, because it is like we have a sellout. And we're having a lot of sellouts in the home end now, and you see the empty seats there. It's like, well, was it really a sellout? Number 4, business and financial update. So MF talked through the annual statement for 2024. They provided an outline of the pre-audit numbers for 2025 and likely prospect for 2026. The strategic aim was so far as possible to reduce the call on the owners to cover annual losses and to achieve greater financial sustainability. 5. The Remembrance fixture 2025. MM outlined detailed plans for this year's Remembrance fixture and described the involvement and commitment of all MFC staff. FAB members welcomed the plans. MM described the club's desire to keep Dockers Day fresh, including plans to host different themes each year. Former Player of the Season winners to celebrate the club's heritage. This season, Dockers Day will be hosted against Hull City in December. Number 6, a fans forum. TL proposed setting up a fans forum at which FAB members could introduce themselves. AB described a successful event organised by Derby County, which included a compared chat between the FAB chair and the club CEO. SH proposed a short podcast helping to establish the FAB in fans' minds, perhaps including the interview between the FAB and MF. MM to reflect on the possibilities and come back to the FAB with ideas as to how this might work. The next fan engagement plan. The meeting noted the existence of the EFL template for FEPs and expressed a preference for a real plan that was not a generic tick box exercise. AB drew attention to the FSA's guidance on good practice. The preparation of the plan will be put on the agenda for the next FAB club meeting. MM to provide Peter R with contact details of the community trust, and Peter R would arrange to meet the MCT to discuss their relations with the FAB and the incorporation of community outreach initiatives in the next FEP. 8. Policing and transportation. It was agreed to review issues of policing and transportation at the next meeting. RH to bring insights from her work on the fan journey to that discussion. MF will brief the next meeting on plans for a new station as part of the wider redevelopment. So, yeah, this is the thing. Obviously, the thing now is they've closed the walkway round the back where you could walk through to Surrey Quays. So now, obviously, if you're trying to get to Surrey Quays, you get there and then you go up, you go to Shoreditch, change for Liverpool Street, you go up to Highbury and Islington, and you can go up to, where'd you go from there? Up to fucking, what do you call it? Bedfordshire, shit like that, I don't know. Or you could go down to Croydon from there, that kind of thing. So that's annoying, and obviously, as mentioned, when you go to South Bermondsey and the police want to let the away fans get out first, it is annoying. The date of the next meeting is the 15th of January 2026 at the Den. So there you go, in the evening. Yep, so there you go. So, just a reminder, the FAB, the Fan Advisory Board, was created by Millwall as a duty. You know, they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it because they have to do it. It's going to be a requirement of this new football governing body created by this failing Labour government, who, trying to ruin football like they're ruining everything else. And let's just check in on that. Let's just have a little... Oh, here we go. This is from the sun.co.uk. So Lisa Nandy broke rules on failing to declare top football regulator boss gave her £2,900 before she appointed him. So the guy who's going to be running the football regulator, the regulation thing, he gave money to the person who gave him the job. I'm sure he's going to be very good at his job then, is he? So, yeah. Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy was tonight scolded over appointing one of her donors as chair of the new football regulator, as an ethics probe found she had breached the governance code by failing to declare David Cogan had given £2,900 to her failed party leadership campaign. Sir Keir Starmer last night rapped her. Oh, that was... I thought that was another word then, but I think, she's a woman and not a Ukrainian male model, so I think he did rapped her, not the other word, for falling short of the standard expected from senior ministers, but let her off the hook, because of course, how do you lose your job? You don't. It is the second time in as many weeks the PM was forced to reprimand one of his top team over ethics, following Rachel Reeves' unlawful renting scandal. Remember that? Mr. Cogan will still be allowed to take up the role as boss of the incoming football regulator, despite 3 breaches of the governance code. So there you go. He still has the job. Well, of course he paid for it. Otherwise, he'll have to get the money back, and they've already spent it. The first was Miss Nandy's failure to disclose the 2 donations he had made to her 2020 leadership bid. Despite her claims not to have known about the money, Ethics Commissioner Sir William Shawcross said Mr. Cogan's long-standing Labour ties means she should have checked. And Miss Nandy said last night, I deeply regret this error. I appreciate the perception it could create, but it was not deliberate and I apologise for it. Another breach was the department failing to disclose this possible conflict of interest with Mr. Cogan in his interview. And a third was that the Culture Department failed to disclose Mr. Cogan's historic links to the Labour Party, to which he's donated £33,410. So the last line, they actually tell you that he's actually been donating £33,000 to the Labour Party, but the headline is £2,900. Oh, it's only £2,900. Right? What's that? It's a monthly mortgage payment in this economy. No, it's actually more than that, and they've buried it at the end. So, this is going to be a complete fucking shit show. It already is from the start, so if you think this is going to save football, whatever that means, you are a fucking moron. And good luck with that. You're going to need it. Now, moving on to this, some good news. The future. Lyndon Snellgrove receives England under-17s call-up. Now, may I remind you, the last player we had who had got an England call-up was Romain Esse. Wow. So we know what happened to him. Obviously, fingers crossed, a similar thing. Mill Academy defender Lyndon Snellgrove has been called up to the England under-17s camp for their November international fixtures, with 3 matches upcoming in Dubai against USA, Ivory Coast, I believe they prefer to be called the Côte d'Ivoire, and Australia. Snellgrove, a left-footed centre-back, will hope to gain experience with his country for the very first time. Congratulations, yes indeed. And here are the games coming up during this international break. Thursday the 13th of November, Saturday the 15th of November, and Tuesday the 18th of November. Obviously, at this age group, under-17s, I don't think these games will be televised. They might be on England YouTube, but probably not. Maybe on some kind of YouTube channel live, I'm not sure. So, picture here. So this is from the under-21 Cup game that was at the Den last month. So if he's under-17s, he's playing for the under-21s. I mean, that's quite a step up. So, been called up to England, which is slightly confusing as well, because at the moment, the under-17 World Cup is actually taking place in Qatar, and England are in it. They lost to Venezuela a couple of days ago. They beat Haiti 8-1 today. 8-1. I bet the goalkeeper's fucking spitting feathers that he didn't keep a clean sheet. But it's under-17 World Cup based on the start of qualifying. So by the time the tournament's actually being played now, is actually the under-18 team. So it was under-17 when they started qualifying, and they call it the under-17 World Cup. But it's actually the under-18 England team that are competing in it. So the under-17s is a different team that's going to be involved in this little mini tournament. So there you go. Good luck, lad. Good luck. That's some achievement to be called up for an England team at any level when you're at a championship club. That is pretty interesting. Now we're going to start. I think all of the next stories about the game tomorrow. Mill to mark Remembrance Day versus Preston North End. Yeah, tomorrow morning, 12:30 kickoff. It's 12:30 kickoff, not 3 p.m. 12:30. So here we go. What's going on? Mill's annual Remembrance Day fixture takes place on Saturday afternoon as Preston North End visit a Den, kick-off at 12:30 p.m. Ahead of the match, there are numerous events going on around the stadium, beginning with a Royal British Legion coffee morning, starting at 10 a.m. in the Mill Community Trust building. At 11:30 a.m, a pre-match ceremony will take place at Private Leo Callahan's bench, whilst poppies will be on sale at stands located in the SC16 fan zone at KW6 and in the outdoor away concourse. The Alliance store will also be selling poppies, with additional poppies on sale from service personnel at the entrances to the number 11 lounge and Club 1885, as well as from those roaming in Doherty's lounge and in executive boxes. Representatives from the Royal Navy, the RAF, the Parachute Regiment and the Princess of Wales Royal Regiment, Units 3 and 14 of the Sussex Army Cadet Force will be in attendance on the day, with Reeves from Millwall Football Club, Preston North End Football Club, Millwall Supporters Club and PWRR Sussex Army Cadet Force leading the teams onto the pitch before kick-off. Chief Petty Officer Tim Mills, RVM Royal Navy, Major Simon Getty Parachute Regiment and Cadet Colour Sergeant Aliya Marchant PWRR Sussex ACF and AR William Austin RAF will carry the reefs. The pre-kick-off service will begin at 12:25 p.m, with both sides gathering around the centre circle for a period of silence, the Ode to Remembrance poem and the playing of the last post by bugler Warrant Officer Phil Hawkins, Royal Marines. Once the teams have broken away for kick-off, service personnel will then later release reefs behind the goals as the action gets underway. Elsewhere, there will be an auction taking place in number 11 lounge, with all proceeds donated to the Royal British Legion, and bucket collectors will be roaming around the ground before kick-off. So there you go. Now moving on to this. That's not the only thing that's going to be happening. This is information for supporters ahead of the game. So tickets are still available. This is not a sellout. That's another thing. Not only midweek games, but early kickoff games. Obviously, when there's a schedule for many, many years, Saturday 3 p.m, Saturday 3 p.m, Saturday 3 p.m, and you mess with the schedule, you mess with people and they can't go to games. The Remembrance stuff that we just mentioned. Jake Cooper, remember him? Before kickoff, Jake Cooper will be presented with an award for reaching 400 Millwall appearances by Alan McCleary, himself 5th in all-time appearances, makers list with 413. So be in your seats by 12:10 p.m. That's going to be happening before the Remembrance stuff. So obviously, I imagine that's after the warm-up and the players go off, or maybe before the warm-up. So there you go. And then obviously prostate cancer, they had the big thing about the October thing. You may have seen Paul Robinson doing his thing. That's they're going to be showing the film on the big screen. So there you go. Yep. So there you go. Now moving on to this, we've had a touch of luck. Preston North End's top scorer so far this season, their main striker, the big man, he has been suspended for 9 games. It was announced today. How is that? So now, both teams won't have a striker. Isn't that great? So, yeah, this is from the southernnews.co.uk. Preston North End striker handed 9-game suspension, ruling him out of Millwall clash. Preston North End striker Militan Osmajic has been given a 9-game suspension after being charged with racially abusing Burnley midfielder Hannibal Mejbril, ruling him out of the Lily Whites trip to the Den on Saturday. Mejbril was alleged to have breached FA rule E3 during Preston's 0-0 draw at the Clouds on February the 15th. That's the other guy though. So he breached the rule, and then the other guy breached the rule. They don't. Hang on, what's going on there? No, Mejbril was the victim, alleged victim. The Montenegrin was alleged to have breached Rule E3.1 by acting in an improper manner and or using abusive and or assaulting words during the match, and that the matter was an aggravated breach as the words included reference whether expressed or implied to colour and or race. Yeah, apparently this is what he said. He said, "Oh, you are bad man. You're bad man. You're bad." And apparently the guy thought he said black, but the guy's not black. He's North African. So he's like, what, beige? So, like, I mean, what are we doing here? He's not even black. He's beige. And apparently, I don't know if they had it. Obviously, I don't care to look into it, but it's, from what I can gather, it's he said, she said, and based on that, they've given a 9-game suspension, which I'm not bothered about. Hopefully it fucks them up and they drop down the table, and that helps us out. It'll certainly help us out tomorrow, hopefully. Osmajic, who denied the charge against him, was charged in March, and the hearing took place in September. An independent regulatory commission found that the charges were proven and handed him the suspension of £21,000 fine, and he has to undergo a mandatory education course, because of course he does. Osmajic will miss the next 9 games, including his side's clash with Millwall this weekend. So, there you go. Now this, also from southernnews.co.uk, from the Preston North End manager. Preston North End boss, not really bothered about potential Millwall reaction to Birmingham City thrashing. Preston North End boss Paul Heckingbottom said he was not really bothered whether Millwall would be looking for reaction to their midweek loss ahead of his side's trip to the Den on Saturday. The Lions suffered their joint heaviest defeat of the season on Tuesday night, so far, a 4-0 thrashing away at Birmingham City. Alex Stewart admitted his side were not good enough after the match and will be targeting a response against the Lily Whites at home. Preston head into the match having won 3 on the bounce, the most recent of which was a 2-1 win over Swansea City at home on Wednesday. After the match, Heckingbottom was asked by the club's media if Millwall's poor result on Tuesday night could work against the Lilywhites. Oh, 100% Alex will want to bounce back, and you'll want to put things like that right, but I'm not really bothered about that. We will need to approach the game well enough, and we prepare for the best version of Millwall. Millwall at home, Millwall being aggressive, and Millwall making us defend, and Millwall being good at set plays, and, we'll prepare for the best version of them, and hopefully, we will deliver a performance good enough to get the points. We've just got to go and attack the game, and it's about the 3 points, and we've got to try and take them. And I've said to the players today, the game starts now, and we start preparing for the game now, and we're looking forward to it. Yeah. Good. Now, moving on to this from millfc.co.uk, Millwall matchday mascots for the game against Preston North End. And here we go. We've got Reggie Gill. Saturday's Junior Alliance mascot is Reggie Gill. Reggie loves playing football, darts, and cycling, and his favourite player is Femi Aziz, and he predicts a 3-1 win for Millwall. Next is Teddy Wood. He's 9 years old and loves football and gaming. His favourite Millwall player is also Femi Aziz, and he's predicting a 2-1 win for the Lions. Next we have Amelia Allen. She's 14 years old and loves football. Her favourite Millwall player is Max Crocombe, and she's predicting a 2-0 win for the Lions. Next up is Albert Kumar, pictured on the left. He's 10 years old and loves football and Star Wars. His favourite Millwall player is Macaulay Langstaff, pictured above on the right. And he's predicting a 3-0 win for Millwall. And hopefully, a Macaulay Langstaff hat-trick. That would be nice. And next up is Theo Hawksworth. He's age 7. Enjoys playing football for his team as a goalkeeper, playing Fortnite and swimming. His favourite player is Jake Cooper, and he predicts a 1-0 win for Millwall this weekend. We hope you all have a fantastic day. Indeed. Now, the game is an early kickoff, and it is on the television, sort of. It's on Sky Sports Plus. So it's not on Sky Channel, it's on Sky Sports Streaming, it's on Sky Sports Plus. If you are abroad, you can buy a match pass. I don't know if that counts if you're in America, because it is being shown in America. Bizarrely, for some reason, it's also in Puerto Rico. Do Preston have a player from Puerto Rico? Why is that being shown there? I don't know, but if you do happen to find yourself in Puerto Rico, you can watch it on CBS Sports Network or Nikon. If you're in the USA, it's on Paramount Plus, Fubo TV, Amazon Prime Video, or CBS Sports Network. So plenty of choices there in the United States of America. Now, the match stats from the EFL, from EFL.com. Millwall are unbeaten in each of their last 12 league meetings with Preston North End. We've won 7, drawn 5, and are only currently on the longer active unbeaten streak against Charlton Athletic, 13. Here we go again with the streaks, the streaks, and the dreaded streak. We had a lovely streak against Birmingham until Tuesday. The streaks worry me. The streaks need to end sometime. They do need to end sometime. Maybe not the one against Charlton, but the longer something goes, the higher chance it's going to stop going. As in, how old are you? 40? You're probably going to live a few more years. How old are you? 50? You've got a few more years. How old are you? 80? Oh. Are you still going to be alive next year? How old are you? 99? Do you think you're going to make it to 100? Do you understand? The streak. You've had a streak of 99 years living on this earth. Will you make it to 100? Yeah, and that's the same with these games. The longer the streak, the higher the chance that the streak will end. Preston North End have only won 1 of their last 9 away games against in-league competition. Hang on, what? Preston North End have only won 1 of their last 9 away games against in-league competition. So I presume the way they've worded that means championship teams, but also championship teams in cup competitions. Drawing 3, losing 5, winning 3-1 in February 2019 thanks to goals from Andrew Hughes, Tom Clark and Sean Maguire inside the opening 30 minutes. Okay. Millwall were beaten 4-0 in midweek. Okay, yeah, we know. Their second 4-goal defeat of the season. Yeah. It is now the first time the Lions have suffered multiple defeats by at least 4 goals in a league campaign since 2014-15. 5-1 against Middlesbrough, or 1-5, and 1-6 against Norwich. And that was when Ian Holloway was manager. Happy times. Preston North End have won each of their last 3 championship matches, just 1 fewer victory than they had managed in their previous 19 league games. So, is this a new chapter for Preston, or is this just an anomaly? So they've won 3 championship matches in a row, but in the previous 19 games in the league, they had only won 4. So they won 4 in 19, and then, now they win 3 and 3. Maybe they just got lucky with the fixtures, eh? Millwall's Alex Neil was unbeaten in his 3 home games against Paul Heckingbottom in the Football League, with each of those games coming against a different team. Presumably when Alex Neil was the manager of Preston, they played Barnsley and it was a 1-1 in September 2017. And then against Leeds United in April 2018, it was a 3-1 win for Alex Neil. And then when Alex Neil moved to Stoke City, he won 3-1 against Paul Heckingbottom's Sheffield United in October 2022. Aren't stats fun? Aren't they fun? No, they're not. This is the historical record of games between Millwall and Preston North End from 11v11.com. A lot of W's there, a lot of green W's, a lot of wins. One thing that stands out, the very first defeat at the Den against Preston North End was a 5-7 defeat. Can you imagine? You see your team score 5 goals and they end up fucking losing? Blimey, governor. Jesus. But, we made up for it the season after, almost a year later, on 31st of October 1931, by winning 4-1. Have some of that. In fact, we lose so few times against Preston North End at the Den that I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 defeats at home against Preston. And it's usually by the odd goal. Obviously, apart from that 5-7. Last time, though, it was a 3-1 defeat. That was in February 2019. Since then, the streak that we're on at the moment, a 1-0 victory, a 2-1 victory, a 0-0 draw, a 2-1 victory, a 1-1 draw, and the last game was a 3-1 victory in September 2024. So, have we ever played them on Remembrance Day? Yes, probably. This game here, the 10th of November 1984. Was it as big back in the day? I would have been, 3 years old then? So I won't know. I wouldn't know. But we did play them, and we won 3-0 in the League Division 3. We got a game here on the 18th of November, so that's after Remembrance Day. And it was a 1-1 draw in 1933. Although that wouldn't be... No. Remembrance... Obviously, the Remembrance Day thing happened... The poppies is because of the First World War. This was in between wars. So, I don't know about that. So there you go. A lot of wins. A hell of a lot of wins. If you are a Millwall fan, you would probably expect to win against Preston North End, having seen the history that we've seen. and a lot of victories. They're quite heavy ones as well. 4-1 was the first game in the FA Cup. I listened to the Acton Millwall podcast about this game today. This was in the FA Cup. Was it quarter-final? In the season that we got to the semi-final for the second time in 3 years and got beaten by Derby County. So we got to the FA Cup semi-final in this cup run. And there's a 4-1 here. There's a 4-1 here. There's a 5-1 here. There's a 4-0 here. So, it's a winnable game. Just the type of game you need after you lose 4-0 away at Birmingham in a midweek. So, let's get into the predictions then. What do we do? So, this is from whoscored.com. As you can see, the last 6 matches, 4 wins for Millwall, 2 draws, and no defeats. Preston have not won in the last 6, as mentioned. 9 goals for Millwall and 3 goals for Preston, but plenty of yellow cards. 13 yellow cards for Millwall and 12 yellow cards for Preston. 1 red card for us. That was in the last game that we actually won 3-1. Here's the table as it stands. They are above us by 1 place. 25 points from 14 games. We've got 24 points from 14 games. But they've actually lost 2 games in their last 6. They've won 4, lost 2. We have won 4, drawn 1, lost 1 in the last 6 games. So that's the form table. But so far this season, let's have a look. Let's expand this. So obviously, there was a game today as well, wasn't there? I should probably tell you about that. Does that impact us? It's probably not reflected in this because I haven't updated it. It was Watford 1, Bristol City 1. So they should be on 15 games played. So where are they? So Bristol City are now up to 23 points. So they didn't overtake us. Joy. But they couldn't beat Watford. And Watford go on 20 points. We have a negative goal difference. We're the only team in the top half of the table with negative goal difference. And that's, when you win and you lose, that's going to happen probably. If you win 1-0 and you lose 2-0, that's going to happen. So what am I doing? Home teams. They've got most of their points from home games. You can see that there. They are the second best home team in the division. So I imagine when we click to away games, they're going to be absolute fucking dog shit. This is our home form though. We haven't drawn at home yet. 4 wins at home, 3 defeats. Those defeats have been pretty abysmal. 4-0 against Coventry, 3-0 against Middlesbrough, and the 2-0 against Wrexham. I don't know which one's worse. Probably against Wrexham, because they were absolute fucking dog shit. The away, here we go. So they, on the road, have won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. Let's have a look. Who did they beat? They beat Derby 1-0. And they beat Southampton 2-0. Okay. Who did they lose to? West Brom 2-1. And Portsmouth 1-0. So a bit of a mixed bag, really, in terms of their away games. So again, this is a winnable game, in my opinion. Where we go? Go down. So what you're seeing now is the last 6 home games for Millwall and the last 6 games for Preston. They have scored in most of the last 6 games. They only failed to score against Portsmouth, and they lost that game 1-0. They've kept 3 clean sheets. They kept a clean sheet against Barrow in the League Cup. They kept a clean sheet against Derby, and they kept a clean sheet against Southampton. So much like Millwall, in the games that they've won, they've kept clean sheets. Yeah. So as soon as we score, you know that, we're probably going to win the game, or at least draw it, because Preston don't seem to be able to win games without keeping a clean sheet, especially certainly from in away games. And if you go to Millwall, pretty similar story. We lost to Wrexham, we failed to score. We lost to Coventry, failed to score. In fact, in all the other games, we kept a clean sheet. Clean sheet against Watford, 1-1-0. Clean sheet against West Bromwich Albion, 1-3-0. Clean sheet against Stoke, 1-2-0. Clean sheet against Leicester, 1-1-0. So, if Port Preston do manage to score, are we going to come back? Can we come back? Is it literally all or nothing? Are we set up in a way that it either works or it's completely abysmal? Because we have had heavy defeats this season. So is that what's happening? It either works really well, the game plan, or the game plan is, complete dog shit and the plans go out the window and there's no plan B. I don't know. Strengths and weaknesses, etc, etc. Let's have a look at the match facts on the right hand side. Millwall are undefeated in their last 12 matches against Preston in all competitions, so obviously that's home and away. Preston have won their last 3 matches. Yes, that is true. Preston have scored at least 2 goals in their last 3 matches. Indeed, but their main striker is now suspended. So let's get to prediction. What is going on? So they play with a 3-5-2, do they? Okay, well that's interesting. They've got a lot of injuries as well, and their striker's now suspended. We've got an insane amount of injuries, and apparently Billy Mitchell is injured now. Just came out on the grapevine on Twitter this evening. Billy Mitchell injured. Someone saying 6 weeks. Again, we're going to have a hell of a team in January when all these injured players come back. Here's a prediction. Mill's impressive run of form came to an abrupt end in midweek as the Lions conceded twice in each half in a humbling 4-0 away defeat to Chris Davis's Birmingham side. The London club had taken 13 points from 5 league outings before kick-off on Tuesday night. Preston enjoyed an excellent start against a struggling Swansea side on Wednesday as Thierry Small opened the scoring in the 8th minute, setting up a 2-1 home win. The Lily Whites have won 3 straight league games heading into game week 15, meaning they sit 4th in the standings, 2 points behind Stoke in 2nd. And they say Millwall 1, Preston 1. And if you look over here on the right hand side, you can see top scorer for Millwall, Femi Aziz, 4 goals, he's out. And Osmajic for them, 4 goals, he's out. So again, is this a blessing for us? Are we getting blessed? Are we? I don't know. Let's move on to this from sportsmold.co.uk. And again, they've got this excellent write-up. It's not their fault, but I have to skip it because I've been waffling on for an hour now. And I'm sure you want to know. You want to get to the end of the video and you just want it to be over. Now, here we go. Millwall 2, Preston 1. With just a point separating the two sides, we think Saturday's fixture will be a close-fought contest between two teams targeting at least a playoff berth. We have to take into account that Millwall won their last 3 home games as well as 4 of their previous 6 games against Preston at the Den, and with that in mind, we think the hosts will do enough to claim a narrow win. This is a game we should be winning. You know, the history against Preston at the Den is a history of wins. Obviously, massive injury problems at the moment, but they've just lost their striker, so things. We wait to see what Alex Neil does. We wait to see what he does. The mercurial mind of Alex Neil. What will he come up with? What little trick and plan and scheme will he come up with? Hopefully, it's starting Raheem Spangor-Williams in the fucking team, because that would be something. A player who was selected for England under-20s whilst at a championship team, who is a very skillful player, who came off the bench when we were playing absolutely fucking abysmally against Charlton and were looking to lose that game, and he snatched a point back by scoring a goal. Not only that, but he also helped get the ball in the net on another occasion in that game. So you do have to wonder, you want to score goals, why don't you play one of your most creative players? It does kind of beg a belief, but because he's been sitting on the bench, you do wonder what's going to happen there. But, we wait to see what happens, and then we moan about it afterwards, don't we? Don't we, people? I'm going to say this is going to be a poor result for us, and a poor result in this game would probably be a draw. I'm going to go 0-0 draw. I'm going to go Millwall 0, Preston 0. I think we're going to be toothless up front. I assume he's going to go with Ivanovic again. I can't see him going with Langstaff. Would Ballo on the left, Ballo on the right. Is Doughty going to be back? I think one of the reasons why he put Ballo on the right, because Doughty's going to come back, and then Doughty has to go on the left. So what are you going to do with Ballo? So we'll wait to see. Does he play with a back three? I don't know. What does he do with the right back situation? So there's so many things that need to be figured out. But I'm going to go with 0-0 draw. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.